Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
This is Chongqing.
Yay! Chongqing!
The fastest growing city.
Roll sound.
Rolling.
Sound production, take two.
This is Chongqing, home to over 30 million people, including me. I've lived here for over 5 years, and thanks to going viral on Instagram recently,
2 million views.
it's come to my attention that I need to make a video about why I moved here. Hello. Wow, how cool.
贴的，
哇，
拍点中文，
可以，
可以给你拍照吗？
可以
拍照吗？对，
Beyonce.
我先拍，我先拍，我先拍，一起拍嘛，来一个大合照嘛。
So, pull up a chair, cop a squat, grab a snack, because this is that video.
You've reached the destination.
It's interesting that people ask, why China? Far more frequently than I was ever asked, why Colombia?
Es Colombia, no Colombia.
I mean, I didn't live there first for a whole year. In order to answer why China, I have to start with why Colombia. Actually, I have to start in Mexico. In 2012, I took a solo trip to Mexico for my birthday. On that trip, I got bitten by the travel bug and I didn't want to stop. I traveled domestically more often, but I still had this urge to travel to more international locations.
Fast forward to 2015.
I was in my 6th year as a hairstylist, my second career after working in healthcare straight out of college. I was feeling burnt out from the grind of doing hair. Having to work super hard for a month or two just to take a week or two off was killing me. One day, a client and I were talking about careers and shifts in our life. I mentioned that I've been researching jobs abroad. And she said, oh, I did that, super casual. I taught in Peru. This moment was really some divine intervention. The stars and moons aligned. Like, what? This is exactly who I needed to be talking to at this exact moment. She told me exactly what she did, and I did exactly what she said. As soon as I got finished with her hair, I went straight to the website she told me about, where she got her TEFL certificate. That link is in the description of this video. After a lot of research and a few conversations with my advisor, I signed up for the course and I got certified to teach English as a foreign language. Initially, I searched for jobs in China, but the process to get a job in China and actually get here seemed like a lot.
Spoiler alert, that's because it is.
Through my search, I came across this program to teach in Colombia, and it looked really fun. Remember, this was a Spanish-speaking travel bug that bit me in Mexico, so I was down. I never forgot on that trip in 2012 how I just kept saying, I wish I could speak Spanish. Living in Colombia seems like a great way to do that and get to really explore the country. This program paired native speakers with schools in underserved areas in order to promote bilingualism in the country. This program was appropriately called Colombia Bilingüe, pero ya no existe. Entonces, there's no point in me telling you more about it. I will say, if you Google it, you may find something, but I want to assure you, this is not the same program that I participated in. It has changed. It's not the same. I loved Colombia and I wanted to stay there for the foreseeable future at that time. But this was a government-run program and it paid a stipend, not a salary at all. It paid a stipend of about $500 US. Not enough for a woman in her 30s to try to live, save, travel, you know, all the things one would want to do. It was a great program for someone straight out of university. I'll never be upset that I did it. It was literally the best year of my life, even though I was broke. That is why China came back into play.
Excuse me.
we want to take a photo with you.
Okay, sure. You're welcome. Oh, a selfie. Ooh.
You are so beautiful.
Thank you. You're so cute. Ah, you too.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
You too. Nice to meet you too. You're so cute. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right, where was I? In 2017, I found a company called Career China on a website called Dave's ESL Cafe. Yes, that site still exists to this day, and it is a legitimate site for finding jobs. However, scammers be scamming everywhere. As I said earlier, the process of getting to China is a doozy. Career China presented itself better than any of the other ads I saw in terms of hand-holding through the mountain of paperwork to get here. They placed me at a training school called First Leap. Career China served as the main recruiter for First Leap, so much so that they seem to run as one company. First Leap hired teachers year-round based on the needs of the centers in each of its cities. Once I was hired, they gave me a list of cities I could choose to work in. The list included Beijing, Shenyang, some other places that were too cold for me in winter, and Chongqing. I never heard of Chongqing before, so of course I got on the Googler and did my due diligence. The internet said on average it was warmer here than all of the other cities on the list. And I thought it would be cool to live in a city nobody I knew ever heard of. I did want to make sure it wasn't some tiny village town, and well, tiny it is not. Village it is. It's a huge village. That doesn't make sense. But if you've ever been to Chongqing, then you know exactly what I mean.
So
that answers the question, why China? I moved here for a job. I think the real question you want to know the answer to is why I stayed here for so long. Why Chongqing? Why did I stay in Chongqing after I got here and saw how China is, how Chongqing is compared to other cities with more expats like Shanghai or Beijing? Why did I choose to stay in Chongqing the whole time that I've lived here? Well, the cost of living in CQ is very low. Compared to the US, the cost of living in China as a whole it's damn near free. Compared to the rest of the world, I'd go so far as to say there's nowhere else in the world you can have this quality of life for such a low cost of living. I said it. There's nowhere in the world you can have this quality of life for such a low price. That is why I chose to stay in Chongqing. Por ejemplo, my rent is 1,900 yuan. That's about 266 US dollars. My apartment is beautiful. It's an amazing location. There's a subway stop less than 5 minutes away from my front door. Everything I need is steps away. This is the pedestrian street beneath my apartment building. It's full of fresh food vendors. You can get all your fruit and vegetables right out here. There's also a supermarket, convenience stores, tons of restaurants, both quick takeout places as well as sit-down restaurants. My dry cleaner is here. There's pharmacies here. Underneath those tents, they're selling clothes, bras and panties for sale under the pink one, t-shirts and sweatpants under the white one. I can come down here and get almost anything, but if I'm feeling lazy, then anything in the world can be delivered to me within 30 minutes. There's nowhere else I can live for such a little bit of money and have access to so much. I've lived in my current apartment for the last 4 years. The first year, my apartment was 2,300 yuan, which is about a little over $330. I hated that apartment. It was bigger, it was a 1-bedroom, but it was a traditional Chinese community, meaning there were like 50 different tall skyscraper apartment buildings, a huge complex where it would take you hours to get your food because the driver has to go through gates of security and elevators, and it was just big. It's great for families, but as a single person, I did not enjoy living there. My second year, I moved into a less expensive apartment and I got a pay raise. So I had a salary increase and increase in a cost of living decrease. Again, where else in the world is that gonna happen? It also takes a long time to get comfortable in a city in China. I don't care what city it is. It takes at least 3 months to get established in terms of your bank account, cell service, home Wi-Fi, finding a home, decorating that home to your liking, knowing how to buy things, that's on and offline, and of course, getting around your city. I hated it here for at least 6 months. Hated it. The other day, I found an email that I wrote to my International TEFL Academy has lifelong job assistance. Yes, you heard me, lifelong job assistance. And the other day, I found an email that I wrote to them, to an advisor, to help me find another job because I hated it here. 5 months in, I was ready to go. I can't remember exactly why, but I hated it. I do remember it took a long time for me to start to like it here. Things got better when I was finally not the only black person at my job and everywhere else for that matter. First Leap hired a whole bunch of girls like me because, you know, I was doing a good job or whatever. I also started to find places in the city that I enjoy, like where I am right now. This is the Chongqing Art Museum right behind me. It's also called the Chopstick Building because it looks like it's made from chopsticks. The Guotai Art Center is located in the central business district of Yuzhong, where there are always fun things to do in this area. A lot of museums are here. It's always a vibe. Once I was established and set up in my home and started having extra income, something I never had in the US, it was a wrap. I was traveling everywhere. It's so easy to travel from Chongqing, at least pre-pandemic it was. Chongqing is a bit central in the country, so it's about 2 to 3 hours to get everywhere in China. But back then I wasn't traveling in China at all. I was out of here. I went to Thailand, like I lived in Georgia and I was going to Miami. It's so close. It was like a 2 to 3 hour flight. I was able to travel so much, and that was the main goal in the first place, remember? So, in conclusion, the be all and end all. This is the video I'm going to refer to everyone I meet for the rest of my life when they ask, you lived in China for 5 years?
Why? 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 Why?
To have a well-paying job in terms of cost of living, to travel as often as possible internationally, and to explore living abroad. Why would I stay here this long, 5 whole years, through the pandemic? Because even through all of that, my quality of life was unmatched financially anywhere else. So, I hope that answers your question. If not, let me know in the comments. I will be working on a more extensive video about Chongqing. I'll also be sharing a video soon about what it's like teaching in a training center, what is a training center, the differences between that and a kindergarten or a traditional school. And I interviewed my coworkers for that one. So you're definitely gonna wanna see that. Make sure you subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and all that other stuff everybody has to say to remind you that we need you to comment, like, share, all the things, do all the things. All right. Okay, I'm out. See you at the next destination.